everyone, and welcome. It's Shanna. So glad you're here today. Now, today we're playing along with Crafty Roulette episode 212, and the project is card for a coworker. The colors are kite in the sky, and we need April, and we need sparkles for this. So I'm going to bring in my pink and main kit. You've seen me use this on my channel already, but everyone seemed to really like the video, so I thought I would do something else with it. Now this is the Crafty Courtyard Kit for April, and it's the daisy stamp set that we're going to be using here. And I know that I want to use most of this stamp set, so I'm going to leave it on its backer sheet and just pick it up with my Misty door and stamp all this out. I did have to move one of them just so that I could make sure that they would fit on my panel there. And so I'm just taking my tape runner and putting some glue on that carrier sheet, and I'm going to lift these stamps up and then bring in my Memento black ink and stamp this up. Now this is kind of the lazy way to do your stamping. I just didn't want to peel them all off, put them all down, then have to clean them all off and stick them back on. I can just do it like this, be done with it, clean them off, stick that one stamp back on, and I am done and ready to go. So we've got these inked up. I'm going to lay them aside, and I'll just wipe them off with some water and a rag. And then I've got my stamped panel ready. Now you'll see my daisies actually went off the side of my paper, and it's because I know I'm not going to use that many of them. I'm going to use a circle die cut, and so I don't need that many of them. So right now I've got in my alcohol markers, and I'm just going to do some coloring, and so I'm going to turn on some music while you watch me color. Okay, so I've got all my coloring done, and I'm going to use this sketch here. Pink and Main in their Crafty Courtyard Kit includes usually a couple of sketches on the back of their listing of products, and so you've usually got 3 or 4 inspiration sketches that you can follow, and so that's what I'm choosing to do here. I'm going to bring in some of this Pink and Main paper that was included in the kit. I'm going to bring in a couple of my circle dies, and I'm going to die cut out my floral element here. Now I'm just moving my die around to decide what I want the focal part of this stamp to be. And so I'm going to take that to my die cutting machine. I'm going to die cut it out, and I've got a circle that I'm going to use for my focal point. I'm also going to use this fun colored paper here. It's going to be my kite element on my card, and I'm going to use it, and I'm going to use all of my dies, get all of my dies laid down here for everything that I stamped up, and I'm going to get everything die cut out. And I just die cut it all out. And I wanted to have extra sentiments available so that I could use them on other cards. So I'll only be using one on this particular card, but I wanted to be able to have many at hand. So I went ahead and that's why I stamped the whole thing and die cut it all out. Now I've got a card base the same as the card paper there. In fact, I almost laid my die on it. So I'm going to use a colored card base, and I'm going to use the blue to die cut a circle out, and I'm going to use the yellow to die cut out. And I've decided I want to make the floral element there a little bit smaller. So I'm bringing in a smaller die, and I'm going to use the die that I originally cut the yellow one with to die cut out a backer circle. So that's what I'm doing here. And I put my trimmer away, and then I realized I'm going to want to cut that paper down a little bit further so that I'll have an A2 panel for another card that I want to use. So I'm going to just get these circles die cut out and die cut that floral one down smaller and then bring those back in. So I've got my yellow, I've got my floral, I've got my blue, and I'm pulling together what I think I'm going to do on my card base. So I'm just kind of trying to figure it out. I think I might put the cinnamon on that circle, but I don't wind up doing that. So I'm going to follow, now on the Pink and Main sketches, they don't give you dimensions. So you kind of just create your own. So I'm just going to create a panel here. And I think I go 4 by 5 1/4 is what I wind up using, so that I've got some of that blue sky color that goes with my kite and it meets my parameters. I'll have it sticking out around the edge there. And I'm just using my Barely Art glue that I've got in a small container and getting this laid down on my card panel. I'm just smoothing it out and contemplating what I'm going to do here. Now this sketch calls for you to kind of have your circle hanging off the side and the bottom of your card base. But it's actually the top panel that it shows it hanging off of. So if it was the whole card base, I could just glue it down and flip my card base over and cut it off. But because it's only supposed to go to the panel, the pattern paper panel, I'm going to have to make a couple cuts on it. And I'm just winging it. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And I made a cut on one side, and I'm just going to kind of cut across the bottom. And then we'll just nestle that in there along the edge of our pattern paper there. And I think that's going to look good. It's quite colorful, probably a little bit more colorful than what I would normally use because it's pretty busy. And I've got my little butterfly there that I have colored in. And I decided to go ahead and die cut out some more of that fun, wavy pattern paper and layer it up. I just thought I'd just bring back in another layer of that to kind of copy the card base and the second layer of pattern paper. And then this smaller circle is supposed to tuck under your floral element. So I'm trying to figure out how I want it. I was actually trying to line it up with the colors that are already laying there on the card panel. I thought that'd be neat to be cohesive. So that's what I was really trying to do there. So I'm going to get my little butterfly, and I'm going to add some foam tape to it, and just it's going to pop it up a little bit. And then we'll lay it down on our smaller circle that we've got going there. And get it laid down. And there we go. So I'm going to figure out how to tuck these two in together and get them glued down. And I want to make sure I don't get that smaller circle too far up to where it's not tucked underneath my larger circle. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it and pushing it down there. And then we'll get our larger circle laid down on there. And as I'm doing this, I kind of checked the sketch, and I see that I need a banner. So I will be bringing a banner in. Now these were the pieces that I just cut off of that circle because I thought it would help me kind of fill in the gaps so that my, because it is laying on a couple of layers, I thought it would help even it out so it doesn't sag or anything like that. So I just added what I had there. And I'm just going to get this laid down just like the little sketch shows. And like I said, I've decided that there was a banner on that sketch. So I'm going to grab a banner die, and I'm going to get some of that leftover paper that I used to die cut the circle. First, I was checking to make sure the banner I had would be large enough for my cinnamon to fit in there, and it was wide enough. And so I first grabbed this blue thinking I'm going to use it, and then I think I've already brought the blue back in, so let's bring the yellow in. So I'm going to lay it down on that yellow. I'm taping it so it'll stay in place, and I'm bringing my die cut in. And I'm going to actually have to cut some of it off because it is longer than the little area that I have to lay that in there. So I actually made it smaller than the die was, and then I'm going to actually cut it off as well. When you look at the sketch, the banner does hang clear over to the edge of the card base. So that makes it easy. I can just lay it down and cut it off. I don't have to line it up with that second layer there. So it makes it easier to cut. And then I can put my hello friend, because I would hope that your coworkers can be friends of yours. And I'm going to lay that down on there. And we've met all of the elements but the sparkle. We've got our card for a coworker. We've got our kite in the sky. We've got our April showers, bring May flowers. And we need our sparkle. So I'm going to bring these enamel dots and lay them down. And they're not as sparkly as what you probably would need for a sparkle card. So I'll remedy that here in a minute. But I'm bringing in my colorless blender because I had a couple of dots of orange that I wanted to clean off of those flowers and just kind of clean them up. And then I'm going to use these stickles. And I have yellow, orange, and green. And so I'm just going to take these stickles and go over the yellow areas on my card and then go over actually I'm adding some orange there, and then I'll go over the orange elements and I'll go over some of the green elements. And these stickles are very glittery and very sparkly. And this is going to take care of my sparkle element for my card. Now I'm bringing in the orange one and just covering everything with it as well. And we're getting lots and lots of sparkle going. And I've got it's kind of a teal green, but I'm adding it and getting some sparkle going. And then I think that I'm done here. I'm checking off everything that I've got, make sure I've got all of my elements met. And then I lift the card up to kind of show you, and I'm going to clean off some glue. And then I decide that I could add a little bit more bling to it. So I'm going to grab some more enamel dots and add them. And they're kind of falling all over my desk there. So I'm just going to add some more. And we'll get those laid down on there. And then I decide I could bring even more sparkle or shine into this card. So I'm kind of showing it off here, and that's when I think, that hello friend needs something. It's a little doll. So I'm going to go grab my glossy accents, and it was a little bit clogged, so I'm going to clean that up a little bit. And I brought in that white paper because sometimes it flows out a little bit too thick for my liking. And so I'm getting it started and wiping it off. And I'm just going to glossy accent that hello friend very carefully, trying to stay within the black lines and adding some sparkle and shine to it. And I'm just dabbing off any extra blobs that I need to dab off just in case. I'm going to take my pick tool and just kind of move that glossy accent around to where it covers all of my letters and smooth it out real nice and neat. And then I'm going to lay this card aside and just let it dry because I've got all those stickles on there and all that glossy accent, and I'll just need to let it dry, and then we'll have all the shine and all the sparkle. I hope you like how it turned out. It was fun. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.